I really appreciate being the Youth Special of the Year because sometimes we come in here and work every day, sometimes mandated and thinking that nobody cares and nobody seeing what happening, but deep down people really watching and seeing what people do around here and evaluate people. And so I'm very proud because coming in here working with these youth and trying to change a life for these kids to go back in the community to be a better citizen, that made me proud too. It made me to come every day.
Just to know that my hard work of being in the agency of 26 years is paying off. I'm helping and I will continue to help. So just it's exciting. It's an honor for me, so I'm excited about it. Again, hard work has really paid off.
It means a lot to me. I've been with this agency for 17 years, and I've been through its ups and downs. I don't want to cry, so it means a lot to finally be recognized for the actual work that I do. I try to do. A lot of people say I'm mean, but I'm not. I just care. I give 110% whatever I do, and I was always taught to do my best no matter what it is.
It means to me to be nominated for the Employee of the Year, that people noticing that the work that I do with the kids are starting to pay attention of all the hard work and dedication that I put into the youth here at Circleville Juvenile Correctional Facilities.
I think it's a great blessing. It's not something that I focused on or was my main goal. I like to focus on small stuff every day. I write down different stuff like on a daily basis that I like to focus on. It's a lot of times if you focus on major goals, different ideas pop up and you lose focus of what's mainly important to you. So with that being said, I focus on just small things every day. So being nominated for something this big is big to me because it's just proof to show that everything I do on a daily basis and the small things are being showed off in a major way. So it's just a blessing.
For me, it's a light being shined on me, but the light's from other people. I get recognized for our OT here and for our sustainability efforts, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that deserve a lot of the credit also. The Brian Lanes, the Chuck Wilsons, they all help out and they oversee and get creative with their scheduling and stuff like that. So their efforts, are reflected onto me, and I appreciate that.
I think it's really important for management or the supervisors to recognize the hard work and dedication that people put into their work. Last year, I kind of have a difficult year because we had about 5 people retire, one parole officer get promoted. So between the new hires, training the new hires, trying to fill spots that we didn't have people to fill spots with, and caseloads in court, and so it was nice that Ian recognized that and pointed that out.
To me, I think it's a great honor that my peers appreciate the hard work that I do, and I'm here to support my staff.
Well, it's definitely a humbling experience. I'm sure there's plenty of other people that are deserving, and I just appreciate it and I'm very thankful.
It's always great to have your work recognized and appreciated, and anytime anybody says something about it, it's great, but to be nominated for something like this is amazing, and I think it's great.
Fozzie is amazing. He's like constantly working, and he is very, very customer oriented, and he is constantly wanting to work. He always wants to get things done and move forward.
I remember when I was in Marion Juvenile Correction, we had the situation where we had a leak, the gas leak, carbon monoxide, but I didn't know what was carbon monoxide. I never experienced it before. And the kids keep coming. I mean, like when I open the door for the kids to go to the bathroom, everybody puked on the floor. I call control, like my kids are getting hurt. I mean, they puked on the floor. I got to keep cleaning this thing all night. So later, we didn't know none about it until 7 o'clock in the morning. I think the fire department came in. We had to get evacuated to the hospital, Marion General. And I remember the kids were on the bed, shackled. Everybody, all of them telling me, Mama, thank you for saving my life. Thank you for saving my life. I said, you know what, I don't know. But it worked out good because I had to go knock all these doors to tell all the kids to evacuate. And they remember that when we were all in the hospital, I was hospitalized, everybody was telling me, thank you for saving my life. So it just made me, you know, to feel better and to see how best to continue to do the right thing to work with these kids.
My best story, my favorite story, had a 16-year-old, late 90s, that came in for drug trafficking. And as I got to know him and, you know, through Children and Family Services, I found out that he was drug trafficking to take care of 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. Yes, he was breaking the law, but to know he was sending them to school, they were clean, they were well fed, they were very well taken care of. It changed my perspective on what drug traffickers, you know, why some drug traffickers do what they do. But it also was my favorite story because I played a major part in him going back into foster care with his brother, his 2 brothers and his sister, and they were all together. And that's all he wanted, was to be with his brothers and his sister. So to know they were all together in the end, and I regret not having kept up with him to see where his life led him.
I was at home going out to dinner with my family, and there was a kid sitting on the bus stop waiting for the bus, him and another young lady. And me and my family walked by, and the youth said, "Miss Sorrell." And of course I froze because I had to think, now where I know this kid from. Then I said, oh, DYS. So I stopped, turned around, talked to the kid, and all he kept saying was, I remember what you told me, Miss Sorrell. I remember what you told me. I'm going to school, I'm doing this, and he just laid off all the things he was doing, and it just really made me feel good.
My best story or moment here at DYS is one day we was doing community service. Around 7 to 8 kids came, surrounded me. This is probably like 2 or 3 months after I took over the unit, and they was telling me how they appreciated the things that I've done. They was saying that how they was assaulting staff, always getting write-ups. They never received the level. And now that they got their levels, they're getting released. And they said they wanted to thank me because if it wasn't for me coming down there and putting the structure down onto the unit, they would never go home. So that stuck with me for a long time.
I would say, I want to say it was 2016. It's possible it could have been 17. Me and my partner, we worked at Alpha Unit, which is one of your more difficult units. And that was my main post. I worked there every day for over a year. During that time, me and my partner was able to lead our unit to the best school attendance in the building. We received 97% school attendance. That was great for me due to the fact I love learning. I hold these guys accountable. I get them up every morning. We mop the rooms out, mop the hallway, stuff like that. So just to see them lead and get 97% was great. On top of that, a lot of the kids ended up receiving an honor roll and merit roll. Just seeing their smiles on their face, just for, seeing something pay off from the small things that they do every day. Like I explained to them, I see happen with myself. So receiving this award, seeing them receive that award, and still seeing the certificate being posted on the unit. So for a lot of the youth that are still here, they look at that, and those small things continue to drive them to be the best. So I would say that's my best moment with DYS.
One of the things that sticks out most for me is, and I think it's because I laughed so hard and it was funny that day, was I was training an R2R class at pre-service. And a new gentleman just starting out with the agency come in. I'm running them through the stretches. I tell everybody to bend over, touch the floor. When that happens, everybody hears a loud ripping noise, and he tears his pants from his waistline down to his back of his knee, and he panics and runs out of the gym while everybody's pretty much howling, laughing. So I went and borrowed a pair of scrub pants off of Rescue Randy that was there for one of our ERT parts of the class, and I took those in the bathroom and gave them to him, and he ended up coming back out and finishing the class for that day.
For me, probably the most growth that I experienced was executive leadership. I did that a couple years back, and it allowed me to collaborate with not only other people in DYS, but also with DRC. It forced me to step out of my comfort zone, and I was the leader of our group, and that's something that I would have never volunteered for, but like I said, they kind of forced me to do it. But I was able to grow myself a ton during that experience, so I would have to say that.
The best moment was when I worked in Circleville in the 90s with Percy Wright, who was a great mentor and friend.
I feel like my best time with DYS was with Scioto and working with the great people at Scioto. It was fun. And then in particular, once Scioto closed, even though it was a sad moment, it was nice to be there at one point in time with no staff and no youth, and it was just so quiet, and you're just kind of able to put things into perspective and reflect on all of our accomplishments.
The energy and the above and beyond and the commitment to excellence and wanting to get things done.
We're trying to change the world, Superman, trying to make sure that nobody get hurt, no crime, peaceful community, and treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated. I would just make sure and just safer world. That's my prayer every day, and that's what I would do.
My one superpower to bring world peace. Just to look at all the violence that's going on in the world today. Having two sons of my own, constantly worrying about them, and they're trying to do what's right, go to school, work, just to know that it's not all the way safe, for them to be in the community. So world peace is definitely something that if I had a superpower, I would definitely change.
To let these kids know that being in DYS is not the end, it's the beginning. And to be the person that once they leave us, I would be right there over their shoulder, helping them become productive members of society. That would be my superpower, to help these youth become productive members of society.
If I had one superpower for this job, it'll be reading the youth's minds so I can better understand what they're thinking about, so maybe I can help them in the future and what's going on in their minds, and help them in the future so I can better understand what's going on, so I can prepare them for when they get released.
I would say my superpower would be to master memory. The reason I say master memory is because, once again, I love learning. I listen to podcasts. I read a lot of books. I'm just at a point in my life I'm real hungry for knowledge. So with attaining more knowledge, I was recently promoted to operations. I want to say a few months back. Being promoted, it's a lot of information and knowledge that I'm obtaining, a lot of trainings. So just from the podcast, the trainings, and all the information that I'm getting from mentors, I like to use that information. I install it in staff. When I see them down, I install it in the youth. And anybody who I touch base with. In doing that, I see it change lives firsthand, just the way they feel, because that was done for me, and I know how it changed my life, so I just enjoy doing it. So I would say master memory would be my superpower, because if I could master memory, I could spread more information and change lives.
If I had one superpower, to use in this facility, I think I would have loved to have mind control. I could use that for either staff or youth, but generally for youth. Maybe putting messages into their mind to do a better job, make right decisions, go this way, go that way. I think mind control would be really beneficial in DYS.
I would be invisible because sometimes it's hard to get work done with everybody else around, or if you're in the office, people are coming in and out, asking questions, checking in with you, that kind of stuff. So I want to be invisible.
As superpower, I would say the power of healing, to make sure that my coworkers, my friends, my family live a long, healthy, and prosperous life.
I would say maybe time travel, to be able to go back into the past and correct any mistakes that you may have made, and then also to maybe look towards the future so that you can be better prepared.
That would be the power to heal anyone who wanted to be healed, be it a mental, physical problem, because if you don't have your health, nothing else matters. So I think that would be the superpower to have.
Speed. He's like, from The Incredibles, he's Dash. So if he had that, he would just be, it's a little Mazda, zoom zoom.